Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to an all-new edition of BroDown. I'm your host, Mac Davis, and of course, with me each and every week is none other than Mr. Vince Russo, the most hated man in professional wrestling. How you doing, my friend?
You know, very interesting, Mac, because before we came on this show, I was telling you I was in Atlanta last week, and you were telling me that there was a shooting in Atlanta today, and I said I know because I was kind of following it live to see what would happen. But it kind of reminded me when you brought that up, I kind of wanted to shoot myself as I was watching this show. I mean, very, very relevant, bro. Very, very relevant.
There is so much that happened. You know, last week we were off last week, and we did a special on Hulk Hogan. Which, by the way, let me tell you, all of you who are watching and watch that, thank you very much. The numbers for that special that Vince and I did with about Hulk Hogan just did incredible views, and we appreciate that very much. And if you want to be a part of tonight's show, all you got to do is drop us a super chat. We'll throw you up on the screen, and you can be a part of the program as well. But I got to tell you, there was so much going on last week, and we'll talk about it throughout the show tonight that we missed last week. And it was like, God, of all weeks for us not to be live, there was a lot going on last week. But let's talk about tonight. Tonight's SmackDown started off with a look back at SummerSlam, where Cody won the title and Brock Lesnar showed up. And then we go live with John Cena to a crowd that I got to tell you, Vince, was super hot for John Cena tonight. But before we get too far into John Cena and the start of the show, let's talk about something that we missed last week, and that is John Cena's face turn that came from absolutely out of nowhere. I got to know, because I have not heard you comment on this. I purposely have stayed away from several things this week just to hear you talk about it. But what were your thoughts when you saw that train wreck of a face turn?
You know, I'll be honest with you. When I heard about the promo on last week's SmackDown, okay, when he turned babyface on last night's SmackDown, I swear to God, Mac, I was almost giving them credit because it seemed to me like they were setting up for Cody to turn heel and Rock to come out and do this.
Yep.
So, Mac, Coach yells at me all the time because he says I shouldn't say this, but I say it because I'm freaking honest, okay? Because of that, I didn't watch any of night one. I didn't watch any of night two, but it was getting late Sunday night, and quite frankly, baseball game was over. There was nothing on TV, and I literally said, you know what? I'm going to watch the last 5 minutes of Cena and Cody, and I'm going to see The Rock. And I said, if they button it up that way, that's the only way they can save it. And then they hit Brock Lesnar's music. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? But listen, man, we beat this to nauseum. Triple H is a one-trick pony. Pop in the match with the big move. Pop in the match with the kick out. Pop with Brock Lesnar. Pop with Money in the Bank cash-in. And then what do? They take the big moment and they put it over on social media so they could tell you 75 million people watch Brock Lesnar return. It's so, oh my God, bro. It is that's it. That's his card. I mean, that's how Triple H books. And again, looking at tonight, bro, I mean, listen, Mac, screw the people that say I put over everything I ever did. That couldn't have been the farthest thing from the truth, because I was a guy that really believed in trying. I'd rather have something new fail than repeat something a million times before. Yep. And by trying new things failed. But I got to be honest with you, Mac, and I'm begging you to challenge me. Cena's heel turn had to be one of, if not the biggest epic failure in the history of the business. Now, there have been swings and misses, and that's going to happen.
Yep.
But for a guy like Cena in a spot like this on a farewell tour, I cannot think of anything else that was a bigger flop than this.
When I heard Cena in the ring and he was making his turn back to face, look here, everything he said, I started going, we've been saying this and we've been catching so much shit for the things we've been saying that the entire thing was just something was wrong with it from the get-go. We've been saying that for months now. And then he comes out and says, right, that's basically what he said to the fans, that what we've been talking about is absolutely true. And we're just going to start fresh now and we're going to move forward. You know how many fans and viewers probably had whiplash after that show? And I expected, kind of like you, there's something more to this. Somehow there's going to be, another turn come SummerSlam. Cody's going to turn heel and he'll be with The Rock, or something's going to happen. Even tonight, in the back of my mind, before that match came to an end, I kept thinking, will Cena turn back heel, or will Cody turn heel on Cena? And I started thinking maybe that's a possibility, but none of that's playing out. They just didn't have a clue what to do with John Cena when they turned him heel. I'm convinced that it goes all the way back to when The Rock did his whole thing and they were in the ring. It was a last-minute decision and they were stuck with it, and The Rock left and went back to Hollywood. Exactly. And it ruined the entire thing.
It was clear. Cody said it. It was clear. Rock's plan was to turn Cody heel. And everybody in that company shit on that plan. So that left them with no alternative. So they came up, we'll turn Cena heel for no reason whatsoever. Mac, this is where you hear me say over and over and over and over and over again. They're not writers. They don't know how to do this. This was a epic fail, man. And you know what? Here's the sad thing, though, Mac. Fans don't care. They could care less, bro. They're going to throw down the $30 for ESPN to see Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, and they could care less, man.
Let me ask you something. You may know this because I've been trying to figure this out. I have heard through the grapevine with this new ESPN deal with WWE, if you have YouTube TV and you already have ESPN, it's not going to cost you anything. Is that correct?
That's bullshit. They clearly stated, Mac, people, you guys got to pay attention. They clearly stated you will have access to it. What that means is you will have the access to pay for it. That's what it means. You'll have access to it, but it's going to cost extra.
Jesus Christ. They're not going to get any more money out of me. And I see a lot of people saying the same thing.
Oh, Mac, I'm telling you right now, I already put Sportskeeda on a warning. Guys, if you ever want me to review a PLE going forward, I'm charging you the $30 for that month. That $30 to watch it is not coming out of my pocket, man.
No, you get so far less than what we originally got. Remember when the WWE network started? It was $9.99, and you got the PLEs or you got everything. I mean, even the old stuff. Yep. Now you got to go here, there, and everywhere to find what you want, and they're charging you $30 a month, and they want me to keep Peacock as well.
Yeah.
No, that ain't happening.
They're going to get it, though, Mac. You know they're going to get it. You know these fans, Mac. You know they're going to get it, man.
That's a shame. Zubar Talk TV popping in here. By the way, if you want to be a part of the program, just simply send us a super chat and we'll throw it up on the screen. Zubar Talk TV, though, saying Lesnar not appearing when he's from Canada.
Just the fact of no follow-up, like whatsoever. And bro, something really odd, Mac, when John Cena says the WWE was afraid to come to Montreal because they were afraid the audience was going to hijack the show. Aren't you encouraging them to hijack the show by, like, when he said that, I'm like, why would you say that, bro?
It felt like a dare. It really did. Exactly. If you're in the audience, you're going,
That's what I'm saying. It's not bad enough as it is. You want them to hijack the show even more?
Hey, you never know. Look, Clash.
You saw during the main event, Mac, they were chanting F you, Logan Paul, and USA Network had to bleep it out.
Yep. And who encouraged it in the very beginning of the show? Take over the show, man.
Stuff, man, makes zero sense.
During the whole setup in the beginning of the night, we got Logan Paul, we had Drew McIntyre, we had John Cena, and eventually Cody Rhodes came out, made the save in the start of the show. And then we find out that we do have a match later in the evening for the main event. We'll get to a little bit later, and that's Cena and Cody versus Drew and Paul. But then we get to the Motor City Machine Guns. Any thoughts about that?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
I got a lot of thoughts. On what followed that, though. Hey, what did I tell you? What did I tell you, Mac? I told you the last time we were on this show 2 weeks ago, I told you Nick Aldis needs to come out to the music from Fiddler on the Roof. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me. Hey, am I lying? That's what this whole entire show was. Am I lying? The guy just comes out and makes matches as we go along, man.
I think we had one match planned for the entire evening tonight. The rest of them were made up on the fly. By the way, I did want to mention on the last show, we kept saying, what are the MFTs? We couldn't figure out what the name was. A lot of people sent comments in saying, it's my family tree. I had no clue. Honest to God, I had no clue.
Mac, I wish I didn't. I wish I still didn't know what MFT stands for. To be honest, that is horrible. We did get after that match where Jay-Z and the tall one won the match. We get Solo and the MFTs on the mic. Is that the part you want to talk about the little promo after the match? Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Wait a minute.
This all happened just before Sami Zayn.
Bro, what do I have here? Mac, if you and I aren't on the same page, what does that say? Motor City Machine Guns, Mato, and Big Dude. I don't know his name. Mac, okay, are you and I on the same page or not? I still don't know this dude's name, bro. It's literally been at least 4 weeks. I still don't know.
I want to say his name is Tall Tonga or Tall.
I have no idea, but you could see here Mateo and the Big Dude. Okay,
yeah. I got him as Jay-Z Potato in my notes here. So
unbelievable, like it's unreal. I swear to God, I don't understand the people watching this show. I don't get it, bro.
Steven Sabal in here. Steven Sabal. Oh,
they want me to sing his name. Steven Sabal. Steven Sabal. There you go.
Let's see. Robert Rose with the $5 super chat. I seen a picture meme today of the Hulk Hogan cartoon with all 14 cast members and only 2 wrestlers are still with us today.
That is unbelievable. You know what, Robert? I saw that cartoon on my social media, but I did not look that closely at it. That's unfreaking believable, man.
By the way, Robert, who were the 2 wrestlers that are still with us today that were in that?
I bet you Sergeant Slaughter. I bet you.
Yep.
And God, Robert, tell us, and you don't have to pay. We'll pull you up because I would love to know. I would have to guess Slaughter.
Wow. Slaughter's a good one. Yeah, I don't know who the second one would be though.
Not Piper, not Hogan, not Warrior, not Sheik.
I'm gonna feel horrible when they get the name too. While we wait for that,
I'm sure Orndorff was probably on that. Interesting. Robert, let us know who the 2 were, bro, please.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull him up a different because I'm going into the other chats here. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll keep waiting to see if he pops in here. Let's see. Also, Wes Hill. I really enjoy your Remember Hulk Hogan series on the channel. We appreciate that. I'd rather listen to y'all tell stories than watch Raw or SmackDown.
I was a little concerned about that, Mac, because I didn't want to feel like I was being negative towards Hogan in any way. And I started telling a couple of those stories, but it's like, you got to take the good and the bad with everybody, Mac. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm the first one to say, and I've said it a million times since Hulk Hogan passed away, bro, we're all flawed. We are all F-ups, Mac. There's no question about it. None of us have lived a perfect life. And it's all about forgiveness, man. Even though, Mac, I will never forgive them for making me watch this show every Friday night.
It is kind of rough at times, and tonight was one of those nights. Even with the big main event, I was expecting a little bit more with that, and that goes back to the thread of the show that we talk about quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done so much more to thread this show, especially with the size of the main event they had. That could have made it even more exciting and maybe even more questionable. Like, make you think what's going to happen in this match. I got to stick around and find out. They didn't do that, and I always feel like that's it. That if I don't see that in the start of the show, I get a feeling the rest of the show is just going to suck.
Mac, did you watch Raw?
I watched parts of it. What are you talking about, though?
They had at the last 5 minutes of the show, after everybody already went to bed, they had Reigns and who else was it? CM Punk running. Why wouldn't you have them showing up in a souped up, cool looking truck before you went to the last commercial break? That's what you call, Mac, that's what you call kayfabing yourself. They have these guys come out at the very end of the show when I guarantee you half their audience already went to bed. All you had to do was an arrival shot. That's all you had to do, Mac.
And it's not that difficult to do. I go back to talking about the John Cena thing that happened where he turned face, and we kept saying we were just pointing out little things that some of it didn't make sense, and these little things could have been done to make more sense out of it. And when we say these things, we catch a lot of crap for it. But in the end, as I've said on other shows, it's always just criticism, constructive criticism of how the show could be better. And there are little things, just like you were talking about, Vince, that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Anything you want to talk about before we get to the match with Solo and Sami Zayn?
No.
All right. Sami Zayn, let's talk about that. We did get a match with Solo and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was the winner. And then we get to something that maybe I do know what you're talking about now, because is this next part something you
I don't want to go right past Sami Zayn is the winner.
Go ahead.
Okay, because I got guys, this is what I mean. And guys, you can criticize me all you want. I really don't give two shits. This is what I mean about them not giving a shit. They absolutely do not give a shit. You got Sami Zayn out there against Solo Sikoa. Why are these three guys allowed to remain ringside? It's that simple. It's that simple. That is absolutely ridiculous. They could have done the finish in a creative way where the referee sends them to the back. Then there's some kind of referee bump and they sneak the guys out one by one. You could have got to the same exact finish. The fact that they absolutely don't give a shit and the referee literally allows it to be a 4-on-1, that's the shit that I hate, bro. That tells me they could care less. And, again, bro, Sami Zayn, I don't know why he isn't the WWE champion already. I mean, he's beat Gunther. He's beat Solo. There's nobody Sami Zayn can't beat. Just freaking put the belt on him, bro. Just put the belt on him.
I was a little confused, and actually, I think I got a text from Bill Apter during the show that asked the same question. Why didn't Sammy get the belt? I thought that did they not mention that this was?
No, this is exactly why, Mac, because it was a non-title match. So now they can take this match to a PLE that you could pay $30 to see. This is what I'm talking about, guys. You can criticize me all you want. I literally can write this show in 15 minutes. 15 minutes compared to when I wrote the Attitude Era, it took me every single day of the week. Every single day of the week, the show was getting worked and retooled and tweaked and reworked and retooled and getting input from the talent and going to Vince. This show, I could write this show in my sleep.
Well, I hope you can write it better than what they're writing. And here's a great example of that. Let's talk about Charlotte and Alexa Bliss in the backstage promo with the, Charlotte's telling Alexa that she's got a birthday surprise for. What did you, first of all, before we even get to that point, what did you think of the video in the back?
All I could think about was they didn't learn from This Is Your Life, Bailey. Remember that? I remember it. They didn't learn from that. And then I swear to God, I tweeted out one thing during this entire show. And that one thing was when they did this thing in the ring, I just tweeted out, what am I watching here? Like, what is this, bro? Like,
it was bad cringe.
Mac, I
felt bad for the girls in the ring. I kept thinking, oh man, this is bad.
Mac, I got to tell you, and again, I hate to be the broken record. Everything goes back to the writing because, Mac, good comedy is hard to write. Yep. And here's the problem, Mac. If you don't write good comedy, it's going to come across as campy. That's how it's going to come across. There's a very, very fine line between good comedy and comedy that just absolutely sucks. And every time they attempt to do something like this, man, it turns out the same way, Mac.
And it's not just the lines that you have to do when it comes to the comedy. The person delivering the lines has to be able to deliver a comedy line. I'm not so sure hearing Charlotte Flair try to be a comedian in the ring is what she should do. If you want to be light and nice, become friends with Alexa, but don't play and play to the fans, especially about how sweet you are and how funny you are. We know that's not really you. Be you. Just be you.
But you know what that tells me, Mac? Guys, a lot of times, if you write a scene, if you write a promo, if you write a backstage vignette, and bro, the talent is not into it, and the talent doesn't believe in it, bro, it's going to be the drizzling shits. It's going to be the drizzling shits. And I kind of felt this here, like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, like this is what they were told to do.
Yeah.
But even they were like, I'm going to go out there and try to get this thing over, but this thing sucks on paper. You could tell when talent is not into something. And guys, I got to tell you, man, all my experiences in writing, when a talent wasn't into doing something, Mac, I killed it. I killed it because I knew it's not going to get over if they don't like it and they don't understand it. It's not going to get over, and that's what I felt happen here, Mac.
I felt the same way when I was watching them deal with the birthday cake and then the little doll and everything else. It all felt. Even Charlotte made fun of the doll when she gave it to her. Said, "Yeah, it's not that great of a job, but hey, it is what it is." And it's just like, at that point, she's almost admitting, "Yeah, this, it is what it is." By the way, Robert Rose did get back in here and saying that the two names,
Jim,
and some lady, he's not sure who it is. Would it be Wendy Richter?
It would have, it would definitely be Wendy Richter. Hillbilly Jim and Wendy Richter. Very nice.
Let me bring up another name. What about Jesse Ventura? Was he a part of that cartoon series as well? Because he's still around.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I got to see if we can find that. I want to see if we can find that ad, and we'll see who is in the picture.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Traffic Jam. Logan Paul is an unlikable heel. He gets it. Yeah, Logan Paul does. I love Logan Paul. There are people who think he's just a part-timer in the wrestling world. But damn, he's good. And he's believable.
And not only is he good and believable, Mac, he's got size to him. Bro, Logan Paul is bigger than John Cena.
Oh, his arms, man. Yeah. Jesus.
When he was in there with Cena, he's bigger than Cena.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people really realize how big Logan Paul is, but he absolutely Traffic Jam 1000% gets it.
All right, we get the video package from the ESPN deal. What are your thoughts on this ESPN deal? Do you see this as a straight up money grab?
Oh, Mac, this is how I look at it, Mac. This is really a personal choice, and I want to be clear about that. Bro, everybody goes into business to make money, period. Yep. I own my businesses. I was in business to make money. I do russosbrand.com to make money. You go in business to make money. That's why the WWE is making money. That is their number one priority, and I don't blame them for that at all. If they feel they can get another $30 out of this, people go for it. what it really comes down to, Mac, is your personal choice. I know my whole philosophy has always been I work very hard for my money. And I have no problem shelling my money over for things that I enjoy.
Yep.
But you have to earn it. I'm not going to give it away to you. You have to earn my money. And I'll tell you right now, no way in hell would I pay $30 for a PLE. They have not earned that. But, Mac, if there's people that watch this show and get all kinds of entertainment out of watching WWE PLAs and have no problem paying an additional $20, bro, it's your money. Do whatever you want with it. I'm from the school of you want my money, you need to earn my money.
Eventually, not delivering a great product, especially for the pricing that these fans are going to have to pay, that's going to bite them in the ass. And that's basically what you're saying, is it not? That you're going to keep giving this subpar product and charging more and more money. You're going to lose people.
Mac, they have already trained their audience. You're seeing it. They've already trained their audience. I'm not going to watch SmackDown for 2 hours. I'm not going to watch Raw in 2.5 hours. It doesn't warrant my time. Maybe out of that time, we get 15 good minutes. I'll just go right to YouTube as soon as the show. They've already trained their audience that way, man. So why should I pay for a PLE when, like they said on their own show, we'll just show you Brock Lesnar as soon as it's over, and you could be one of the 75 million people to see it for nothing.
Yep. In fact, look at this. We got, I don't know, PGH 87 pins. Maybe I'm missing something here.
Pittsburgh 87 Penguins.
Oh, okay. Not even 5 minutes after the first segment aired, and it was on Twitter.
There you go.
Yep.
Exactly. And they're training them to do that. My thing is, Mac, here's the puzzling part to me. If they're clearly training them to do that, how does Netflix and how is ESPN going to feel about this?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I think that eventually you're talking about the business model and that they're in it to make money. But there's going to come a point where fans, like you're saying, are going to go just to YouTube to watch the clips. I'm not going to watch the PLE. I'll catch it tomorrow in the clips. I don't need to buy the pay-per-view or the PLE. And that is what's going to happen. But that's what I'm saying. It's a short-term money grab. And eventually, in a few years, I don't think it's even going to be that long, it's going to bite them in the ass.
You know, Mac, you and I keep saying that's logic and that has to happen. But yeah. I don't know anymore, because these, I don't even know what to call them, fans are shelling the money over. I mean, bro, the guy, who was it? It was Nick Khan. He feels totally confident they're going to go from $9.99 to $29.99. And he's right. Did you see how confident he was when he said that? So, Mac, I'm with you. Logic tells you, guys, it's going to run out. Enjoy it while you can. But, Mac, I don't know with this fan base, man.
Yeah, I don't understand the fan base, willing to continue paying that kind of dollars. I mean, I used to think all the time people who smoke cigarettes, and some of you who are watching right now may smoke cigarettes, and you continue to pay more and more money for a pack of cigarettes. Bro, I don't even know what it is now.
Mac, I swear to God, we were next to a car just 2 days ago, and the dude was smoking in the car. I just said that to my wife. How can people spend that kind of money on cigarettes, bro?
Yep. And yet they do it for cigarettes. So here we go with wrestling. It's the same thing. But, again, I say, though, you've got to deliver some kind of product. If you're going to charge me, $29.99 a month, I expect a $29.99 a month program, not a $9.99 program that you're giving me now, because that kind of sucks.
But Mac, they think they're delivering. Right after the PLE, right after SummerSlam, they interviewed Triple H. And Triple H's exact line was, "We delivered, didn't we?" Because Brock Lesnar came out at the end. That's them delivering, bro. And here's the funny thing, Mac. You and I talk about this all the time. Why, when a wrestler gets a boo-boo, are they taken off the show? And I finally figured it out, because now Gunther's hurt and now Gunther's going to be off the show. I finally figured it out, Mac, because they know that's another pop in their back pocket.
Yep.
They know when Bianca Belair comes back, they got to pop. When Liv Morgan comes back, they got to pop. When Gunther comes back, they got to pop. So they completely take them off television just to line up. Well, what's the pop in September? What's the pop in October? That's why you don't see them on the show.
Which I kind of understand that a little bit, because it's kind of like the territory days, to be honest with you, Vince, because back then, you'd have like a Roddy Piper coming to a territory and then he'd disappear for a while. You would never see him again until he came back.
But he only disappears after the run. Roddy Piper did not disappear when he was red hot on television. Liv Morgan was red hot on television. I can understand exactly what you say, Mac. They come in, they do a program, they give them their run. When the run is over, they disappear. Yeah. They do this here when the person is red hot at the time and they get an injury and then they go away.
Corey with a $4.99 donation, 1992 to 2025. Me watching WWE ends. $30 more a month for mediocre PLEs stops. And I've seen a lot of people make comments like that since they've announced this deal. Robert Rose, I will never understand the debate of who is the greatest of all time when Hogan held a world title every year from 1984 to 2002, except 1993 and 2001.
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument out of me. I've said all along he's the greatest of all time.
Let's see. The Penguins again. Fans say Cena should put a young guy over in his last match to give them the rub. Yet Cena did that for Theory at Mania. No push for Theory. In fact, I think Theory is no longer there, is he?
Yeah, I think I was reading this week they took him off of everything internally, man. So I don't know what happened to Theory. Maybe he spoke up. I don't know, but it seems like he's not there anymore.
Yeah, Austin's a Georgia boy too. He was in the Georgia area in the Independents, and he's a great talent. So I don't know what the issue would be, why he just, for whatever reason, just didn't catch on, I guess. Let's see. Steven Sabal, will anything stop you from quitting podcast in January?
Well, I don't know how many times I have to say this. Steven, I am not quitting podcasting. I love to podcast. I love to rap with Mac. I am not quitting podcasting. I am not watching Raw and SmackDown in its entirety anymore. In other words, Mac, I'm not going to have to be in front of a television set at a certain time to watch wrestling. I'm not quitting podcasting.
Yeah, that is very difficult to do. Yeah. And Vince and I, and even Sports Keto, we all kind of know what things are coming to an end and what we'd like to do in the future. So don't fret. That's all I can tell you is just don't fret. I think you'll still see Vince and I around anyhow.
Yeah, no, I'll do.
We're just not going to be watching these shows for hours.
I'll do This Week in Wrestling, and if Raju wants to say, Vince, you need to go to YouTube and watch A, B, C, and D, no problem. I'm just not sitting in front of my television watching this for 2 hours anymore. That's all.
No, because it doesn't really call for my attention anymore. It just doesn't. It doesn't grab my attention.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Wyatt Sicks video tonight. The Wyatt story was written and read and has only just begun. Did that give you the heebie-jeebies and want to see more?
No, it's again, man. Guys, again, let me translate this for you. They have no idea what to do with the Wyatt Sicks, so we just keep replaying the same promo for the last freaking 12 months.
Yeah, I've gotten really bored with them, and I was really into the Wyatts when the Wyatts first started. I liked the original Wyatt Sicks or the Wyatts when they were that Louisiana kind of crazy nut jobs. Man, that really was believable for me. But then they had the time away because of the loss of Bray Wyatt. And then we get his brother taking it over. And I even thought he did a good job when it first started.
He did a good job, Mac. He did a good job. Why not put him in a freaking program?
Yep.
He did a good job. He's very good on the mic. He's very good on the promos. Put him in a freaking program. How hard is that?
I didn't care for the promo tonight. I thought it felt a little unenergized. To me, it's almost like they feel like they're already beaten, and maybe they're just playing their roles now.
They've cut that same promo 10 times, man. They know they have. They cut the same promo every single time. It's not their fault because that's all they're being given.
Let's see, Danimal, non-wrestling related. What's the best Kiss album?
You a big Kiss guy, Mac? Go ahead.
For me, it was Love Gun. I liked Love Gun, which was not one that I think a lot of people cared for. And I'm trying to remember what the other name was. Detroit Rock City. What was the name?
Destroyer.
Destroyer. Thank you. Those are my two favorites. How about you?
Bro, believe it or not, Mac, and a lot of people are always shocked when I say this. My favorite Kiss album was the first album where they actually took the makeup off. Lick It Up. I think.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Lick It Up has some great songs. Vinnie Vincent, that was the only album that Vinnie Vincent played on. That's my favorite Kiss album.
Did you ever get to see Kiss live?
Oh, God, Mac, more times than I could tell you.
Yeah, man, I remember watching them in Savannah. They came to the Savannah Civic Center, and that was, I was pretty young.
Yeah.
Because we're the same age.
Yeah.
So I was fairly young. And I got to see Gene Simmons spitting blood and blowing fire and everything else. And that was at a time when, my parents weren't crazy about this group called Kiss.
Kiss, and Satan's Service. That's what people thought Kiss stood for. And Mac, I went to my first Kiss concert in 1977. I was 16 years old, Madison Square Garden. That was my first one.
Well, did you ever get a chance to meet? Maybe you did. Did you get to meet Gene Simmons and the guys? Or
Mac, when I went to WC9, let's say I was born in 61. So I'm 38 years old. Mac, I'd been a Kiss fan since I was 16.
Yep.
Bro, can you imagine? Like, I literally have 10, 15 minutes to work with them. And I'm like the biggest mark on the freaking planet. And I had to put all that aside to be like professional. And I'm sitting there, I'm directing freaking Gene Simmons. And that was the comeback tour was the originals, bro. That was Ace and Peter. It was the originals. Bro, without a shadow of a doubt, my greatest memory from WCW.
One question, then I will get back into the wrestling. Favorite song from Kiss. What was your favorite one?
Again, very, very, very underrated, Mac. I love Charisma from Dynasty.
I want to pick one that I'm sure a lot of people do, and it wasn't one of the rockers.
Give me the album, and I'll guess what it is. What album?
I can't remember the album that it was on, but it was Beth.
Beth was on Destroyer. Yeah,
I loved Beth, and for whatever reason, it was just a different sound at the time. It was not what you expected to hear from Chris.
Not at all.
Kiss. Yeah, I keep saying Chris. I'm thinking
Peter
Chris.
It was Peter Chris. He sang that song. He wrote that song. That was their biggest. Well, I would say Rock and Roll All Night was probably their biggest hit, but that was right behind it.
Oh yeah, and again, it wasn't Gene Simmons and the rest of the guys. It was basically one. So Rowan Curtis off Vermont Avenue saying, "Hey, and good to see you in here, Rowan. You guys said that Flair acknowledged Steve Austin as the GOAT because Flair had beef with Hogan. I said that Flair and Hogan, were friends. Did Flair crying over Hogan's passing prove their friendship?"
No, Roland. I'm going to tell you something, bro, because I'm telling you. Based on my age, Flair cried over Hogan's passing because he's thinking about his own mortality. That's why he got upset, because he's looking at Hulk being 71. He's looking at how old he is. He's looking at what he's gone through physically. And that, guys, I'm telling you, man, and Mac, I know you're just a little younger than me, but guys, I got to tell you, Mac, if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for you, but when you're closer to the end than the beginning, you think about the end a lot. Like, you really think about the end a lot. Like, you don't want to do things you don't want to do. Nope. You only want to do things you enjoy. Am I right, Mac?
And that is why when we were talking about doing the show and having to watch SmackDown and watch Raw, at my age, I got
Exactly.
grandbabies and other things, and
Exactly.
I've got to think about my time.
Yes.
It's more limited than I
Yes.
remember it being.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, Roland, that's what kicked in during Flair's, without a shadow of a doubt. That's what kicked in.
Let me ask you about Chelsea Green and the match with Charlotte Flair. What did you think about that and the cake at the end, which you can see coming a mile away with her? Eventually somebody was going to get into that cake. Anything about that you want to talk about?
This was another thing, Matt. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Alexa Bliss ringside during this match?
I didn't notice that when she was ringside much until the very end when all of a sudden she was there.
Okay, you're right, because the heels are getting involved, and I'm like, where the frig is Alexa Bliss? She was, I don't know if that's part of the angle. I don't know what was going on, but again, man, just we talked about this weeks ago, guys, and you're gonna continue to see it. Chelsea's got the bulletproof tattooed on her head, just like Drew does. Now Drew's gonna go into a program with Cody. Cody's going to beat Drew because Drew's bulletproof, and no matter what you do, he's still going to be over.
Vince, what was the deal with Chelsea Green and why she had to leave social media? I didn't catch that. I knew she did it, but I wasn't sure what it was she said or what happened.
She had very respectful Hulk Hogan comments when he passed, and they freaking attacked her.
For saying something nice?
Yes.
Are you shitting me?
Yes. They attacked her for having positive things to say about Hogan. Yes.
Oh, that's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
To the point where she had to leave social media just for her own mind.
Yes.
Man, that is sad.
That is, man. Absolutely.
Coach sipping Jamba Juice out of a straw. Good to see you in here this evening. Vince, do you think you would have been good friends with Jim Cornette back in your high school days?
I don't think me and Jim Cornette would have been hanging out with the same group.
Who would you been hinging out with, and who would have Jim been hanging out with?
Well, Mac, I'll be honest with you, man. A lot of people like, bro, I don't, maybe because I do these shows and I'm outspoken and stuff like that. Mac, I'm a freaking loner. Man, I prefer to spend my time by myself. And in high school, I was that guy, and I'm a recluse. I'm still that way today. That's why I don't do conventions and this, that, and the other thing. I just like being alone, man.
My wife would tell you I'm very much the same way. I think it's because I was out in the public eye so much during most of my career in radio. I was always going to events and seeing people and always having to shake hands and smile and do stuff like that, to the point now where I really do not enjoy that. I'm uncomfortable in that situation now because I feel like I got to turn it on and be fake, and I'd rather not do that. I'd rather sit back and just enjoy. I'm perfectly happy in my own home. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm happy.
I'm the same way, Mac. I am the same way. Mac, are you a big Bulldog fan during college football, or you're not into?
Oh yeah, no. Around here, you better be a Bulldog.
No, I know.
Fan.
That's why I'm asking you. So you're a big Bulldog fan?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Love the Dogs. Georgia Tech, not so much. No offense, guys, but the Dogs are the ones.
Do you ever go to any of the games?
I don't. It's hard to even get tickets to some of these games.
I can imagine.
Oh, yeah, especially if they're having a good season.
Yeah.
Michael in here again this evening. No mention back when Charlotte tore up Lily Doll.
Well, I guess that's what the whole premise of this was. I guess that's what she tore it up, and now she's replacing it with a new one. I guess that was the whole present.
So I guess you have to remember all this.
You do, because I didn't. Michael, I did not remember that till you just said that. I did not remember that.
Yeah, and again, that is the fault of how the setup was done. They should have explained that before, because, again, casual fans who are just tuning in are not a part of whatever that joke is or whatever you're trying to get across. Nobody gets it but you. Let's see. Jason Lewis, Vince, we still don't know why Cena turned down the heel. Guess we'll never know. Can't believe Triple H dropped it like that. Did it surprise you, Vince, when they dropped it that quick?
God, no, absolutely not. Guys, I told you, pop, put it on social media. Pop, put it on social media. Pop, put it on social. That's all you're going to get every single week. That's it, guys.
And I have heard Triple H make comments that, wrestling's just really a bunch of memories that people have. That's it. They just have memories. So you give them these moments and you hope that it'll stick.
What's the moment we're supposed to remember here? The Cena turn?
I guess so.
Is that the moment we're supposed to remember? I would think you would want us to forget that moment.
Yeah, that was about as bad as the egg that hatched, turkey popping out.
Gobbledygooker. Yeah.
Let's see. Match Mania 23. When the ring announcer introduced Cena, why are they continuing this heel? He is the last real champion shtick. All that was part of the heel act. What do you think about that? I don't really have an issue with that, really.
Well, Mac, it's the same thing. They did the same thing on Raw. Rollins' music and entrance at the top of the show. They're all singing. He's playing maestro and conducting them.
Yep.
The music stops and he cuts a scathing promo on the crowd. That's why Matchmania. That's exactly why. None of this makes any sense, bro. And they don't care because everybody's going to pay $30 to watch PLEs on ESPN.
Except for maybe Steven, who says, if WWE drastically improves, will you watch weekly again?
Once they lose me, Steven, they lose me. So they've got from now till January 24th to show me something. If they don't, they've lost me for life.
Now, and you just said something that makes a lot of sense. When you lose me, you lose me. Mm-hmm. And in wrestling, that is very true in a lot of cases. When you lose a wrestling fan, you've lost that wrestling fan unless you have something major that brings them back.
Matt, can I tell you something? This is the God honest truth. I went to WCW. We had a plan. We had to tear down the old building and build a new foundation. I laid out a plan to WCW step by step, told them how this was going to happen. Okay. I was there for 3 months. In those 3 months, we were doing exactly that. Exactly what I told them we were going to do. Anybody can go back and watch those 3 months of WCW. And that's when the Hogans and the Flairs got paranoid and thought that I was writing them off TV, and they went to Bill Bush and they went to J.J. Dillon, and Kevin Sullivan got involved. Next thing I know, I go home. Okay. So Mac, I go home. We had built up the ratings in those 3 months, a whole rating point. We built it up. Damn. The following 3 months, it went right back to where it was before I started. So then they called me back again. Mac, I knew we lost them. I knew it. I was like, man, we were building in those 3 months. We were growing in those 3 months. You went backwards the next 3 months. We ain't getting them back. We've lost them. I knew it, Mac, because I know how wrestling fans are.
And I remember back in the Monday Night Wars, that was the big thing, because even Eric Bischoff, he knew at one point, we're done. Mm-hmm. We lost the fans, and he knew it was not going to come back to where it was once before. And I despite what you may think about Eric Bischoff and other people, those comments are very true. Wrestling fans will leave the product if you don't give them what they want after a period of time. I'm one of those. You lost me after the Attitude Era, man. I was going from wrestling for a long period of time. I could care less what was happening.
Mac, I was telling this story today. John Paz, Mac. John. No, he's a great dude. He's a great podcaster. I was telling him this story today. I was at Bruce's house, Pritchard, when Hogan came out as the third man. And I knew we were done. I knew it. I'm like, we're done. I mean, because at the time they're doing TL Hopper, the Goon, Mantar, and Hogan came out, and I'm like, we are done. And what happened?
You were done for a period of time until exactly. It changed again. And I think that happened when Mike Tyson and Steve Austin went at it in the ring. When that happened, when that shove happened in the ring, that moved me from WCW to WWE.
But you know what happened, Mac? And it's unfortunate because the same thing is happening now, but AEW is not taking advantage of it. Yep. What really happened, Mac, to be honest with you, was I don't listen. Eric Bischoff is better than me in a lot of areas. Business wise, the guy will run circles around me. I mean, he's got a business mind. He's incredible. He can't match up with me creatively. I'm sorry. That's the truth. The problem was, Mac, that they ran the NWO into the ground. They did not know where to go with it. So you had Wolfpack, you had Black, you had Red. Everybody's in it now. And it got so watered down that opened up the hole.
Yep.
That opened up the hole. And like you said, then we did Tyson, and the NWO is getting watered down and watered down. That's why I think today AEW's got this product on a silver platter. I mean, Now we're going back to freaking Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, and then we're going to go to Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. They've got it on a silver platter, but they don't have the creative to get in there and turn things around.
I agree with that. For me, AEW is something out there that has always been, it has its good moments, bad moments, good moments, bad moments. It needs to become consistent. If it can get on a consistent level, they will be a real threat, but they've got to recognize that they're not consistent. And sometimes I get the impression that maybe they think they're better than they are, and you're not. You got a lot of work to do, but you got a great way of, you got the guy that's got the money. You can make this work if you just get the right players in the right place.
Mac, the number one thing to increase ratings, number one, without a shadow of a doubt, a good, consistent show week after week after week after week. It could take a year, but if every show is consistently good, that's the only way you're going to build ratings.
Now, I do believe AEW's numbers went up in the last week or two. I think they have seen some increases coming their way. So that's good to see. I'm never a negative Nancy when it comes to other wrestling promotions. I want everybody to win because I know it offers more workplaces for the guys who are out there and they need the work. And you got more places you can apply your trade. And it's good for everybody. And it's also good in the sense that if AEW starts really getting better, like WCW did back in the day, WWE is going to have to step up and give us a better product as well. So we win as a fan in the end.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mac. I agree.
Let's see. Roland Curtis, to be fair, Stone Cold Steve Austin cut his infamous Austin 316 promo at King of the Ring in late June, exactly 2 weeks before Hogan was revealed as a third man at Bash at the Beach in early July. Yeah, I remember him cutting that 316 promo, and it was a great promo, but I still think that the shift for me personally at that time was Tyson and Austin in the ring.
Yeah, Roland, Austin 316 at King of the Ring. I mean, that started it, but it took a couple of months to really build. I mean, that was definitely the start of it, but that's not where Austin took off. I mean, it was a couple of months after that. Again, Mac, with good, consistent television. So that was the start, Roland, but I don't know if that's what really kicked him to the level that he was at.
One of the things on the show tonight, we're about to run out of time, so I want to get through a couple of things pretty quick here, but one of my favorite moments of the night was actually backstage, John Cena with R-Truth. I like the crossover between the two after everything that went down. They almost poked fun at both their situations.
But that's what I'm saying, Mac. Another epic fail. R-Truth is right back to where he was, and that was the person that they released. So he's right back to where he was in that same spot, and they released him because they thought it was a tired old act.
And look, when they brought him back, they should have done something with him immediately because the fans were hot with that whole thing. And you could have really done something with it. And I feel like they just said, no, bring him back, but we're not going to give him anything. And that's what it felt like, really. It felt like they brought him back and said, okay, now go sit in catering for a while, which he got tired of doing.
They just have a way of, if somebody's hot, bro, or somebody's got a little momentum, man, it's just another couple of weeks before they're just another name on the roster, man. They got a way of doing that, man.
Let's talk about the main event real quick. Anything with John and Cody and Paul and Drew McIntyre you want to talk about?
I just thought this was absolutely ridiculous, and I'll tell you why, Mac, because we're getting to the end of the show, and I'm just looking at how much time is left. And we've got the 2-minute Cena entrance, and we got and the entrances were almost just as long as the match. And I'm like, are you guys kidding me? You're not even going to give us like a 15-minute match with these four guys. And just the way, I mean, and that's what I keep thinking of, Mac, like these PLEs. You're going to pay $30 for ring entrances? Is that what you got? Because that's what this was. It was just all ring entrances. And, you know, obviously we get to Cena and Logan Paul fighting to the back. And then we get to, you know, obviously Cody's next opponent is Drew McIntyre. But the way they eat up time, it boggles my mind, man.
Did you like the low blow finish? At the end of the match, you know, when Cena took the low? No, Cody took the low blow. I think
when he was under the announce desk.
No, that's before that happened. Before the match, you know, the match got called because someone got low blowed. And guys, you may remember who it was that got low blowed. I want to say it was Cody. Maybe they got the low blow that caused the disqualification in the call of the bell. I thought that was a weak way of really ending that match.
Yeah. Well, again, based on where they're going at that Paris PLE, nobody was going to go over. There wasn't going to be, you know, a decisive victory with Cena. Or nobody was going to go over in this match from the get-go.
No, that's true. Roland Curtis off Vermont Avenue. In fact, Austin was the biggest heel and wore all black when he cut the 316 promo. 2 weeks later, Hogan turned heel and later wore all black. Do you at least acknowledge Austin for Goldberg's similar look?
That's a good question, Roland. What do you say to that, Mac?
I you know, anytime they compare Austin and Goldberg to me, I don't see. I know there's similarities in the characters and how they may look, but the intensities and the drive were completely different to me. They were two different characters. But did Austin maybe influence Goldberg's trunks and look? Yeah, I would probably say.
I don't know about that, Roland, because, like, you know, Goldberg was like very, very generic. I mean, what were you going to put Goldberg in? Colored trunks? You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been the same. You know what I mean? I think he wanted to be as basic as possible, and the only way you can go is black. You know what I mean, Max? So I never really looked at it that way, but I could definitely understand why you do.
Vince, anything you want to talk about that we haven't talked about already? Because we're about out of time here.
No, I think we are good to go, Mac, till next week, man.
I can't wait till we get back in here next week, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news between now and next week that we'll be able to talk about, and then you guys as well. We appreciate you popping in here and being with us each and every Friday night after SmackDown. This is BroDown, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Go down below and subscribe or become a member. I know a lot of you have been asking where you can see the long form versions of these shows, because a lot of times they'll clip this out or something like that. If that happens on any of the shows that we do, just become a member of the page and you'll get all those things eventually. I think it's like a week later after the initial drop, you'll get a week later the full episode of something instead of just a clip. So become a member on the Sportskeeda's Wrestle Binge page. Vince, I've enjoyed it, my friend.
Yes, another one down, Mac. Another one bites the dust. We'll be back here next week, man.
I hear you. Same time, same place. BroDown next week.